Welcome back. Let's take another look at this platform I made for 2TC. So I've upgraded the rope. I had this Oppucks from my original set of tethers. It's the same board. I don't know if I used it since I moved the holes back, but I don't believe I have. I put them in there and I try to get away from using it. It's about 2 pounds the way you see it with the rope. It's just another thing. If I can avoid having to take it, I will. The stirrups hurt my feet, and with boots that don't have a real stiff sole. So this thing helps with that. It's not a platform you would just stand on, and I don't think I would use it without my feet still in the stirrups. If I had to, someone asked at one time, can it take side loading? On the one side, yes, and the other side, no. And that's the way it's tied to the tree. But with the 2TC, if I have to go around the tree, I just step off the platform and start walking around the tree on my tethers. This just makes the long sit bearable. So I'm going to go over to the pole and set it up and show that again. I typically store it like this, and I'll carry this with this daisy chain over my shoulder. But I come over here and I got a couple loops where I pull that and it pulls out, and then this chain will pull out. Quite a bit of rope. That's one thing I'm trying to do something about here. But let's see. This Oppuck still has some twist in it from when I had used it for my tethers. I had a timber hitch. Anyway, this loop will go around the tree, and then this line goes up above and around the tree. And the way part of the way this works is when you put your weight on it, the platform will pull down and pull that loop up, so your weight tightens the platform to the tree. And let's see if I can show that. Let's start off with I have this knot to help me locate the point that I tie it around the tree. So I come over here, come around, and maybe go twice overhand, once, twice. That's super critical. So then once I have that, make sure that I have this pulled loop pulled out. You know, drop this down. I'll take the free end, double it, push it in here. And I want to have this end of the board a little bit higher, so that when I step on it, it's going to tighten up. So I drop this down, and now I got my free end here. I have a loop, I have this loop, and I'll take my free end around. I'll come around. Here it is here. I go through the loop and back. So now I have a loop here. This is through the loop on the left. And then I'm going to pass this one under. So I got one line on top, one line under. It kind of traps it. It kind of traps the platform. And I'm going to take a bite on the end and put it through this loop just like that. And then when I tighten this all up, I'm going to take the one end that goes around the tree here and start pulling all the slack out of it. And I want to maintain this loop here. This just makes it easier. This will make it easier to take off the tree when I'm done. But I get this loop down below, so the platform starts toe down, and I pull this, keep pulling this tight. And then, so when I'm setting this up, I'm hanging on the tree on my tethers, and I would do it from the side over here. Hang on my tethers here, and I run this around, and it gives me easier access to that loop. I can show that again in a minute. I'll move this around, but so once I got this kind of set, and I'll climb up and I'll step over onto it, and it tightens up. And that popping is this wire on the pole. That doesn't happen on the real tree. But once I have it all tight, it's pretty solid. Like I said, I'm in my stirrups. It just takes the pressure off of my the arch of my foot. Then when I break it down, I'll climb off the side and I'll come down a little bit, and I'll just lift it up here. Once I lift it up there, it's pretty loose. I grab this free end, pull it out, and then pull it from there, pull it out of there, and undo this where I had this tied. Now I might change this to where I have a loop and a loop that goes around the tree, and then with a carabiner, and then the other rope to make use two separate sections of rope. And then I just lower it down. So this would be more of the perspective that I would have as I was climbing and setting it up. If I wanted my feet to be at this point, I'd start with my knot up here, and I'm gonna hang around the tree on this side. And start, I want this here, about here. I'm gonna start with the knot here. This would be hanging. And I'm gonna come around and it's a little more to do than the commercially available stand, but there's no metal in this. And if you got a piece of rope and a piece of board, you can be doing this today. Anyway, so I'm gonna start with my 2 knots here, so my loop is at its maximum, and come down, take my bite, push it in here, so I gotta open this hole a little bit more, but I'm gonna start with this side just a little bit higher, and then I take this free end around the back, and through that loop, come under the board, and pull a loop through here. And then I just pull the slack out of, so I pull this slack up, and then I reach underneath, and I'll pull this slack, and I'll grab the side of this loop that runs around back. And when I got it to that point, I got this fairly tight. I climb up a little higher and I'll put my weight here. It tightens up. Coming down, just try to lower it to the ground. When I get down to the ground, I'll pull this. Make sure I'm in the frame here. Pull this up, and I'll start right here. I'll put my hand through, and I'll pull a loop and just start this daisy chain. So I get near the end, and then on this side I'll take a bite. This is one of the last loops here on the chain, and push that through and take the tag in, and I can just put the tag in through that and pull up on this, throw it over my shoulder, and walk out. No metallic noises, and it works. This is what I was using last season when I killed that big 8-pointer. Anyway, I hope that helps. Good hunting. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by.